Imagine hitting the open road in 1936, not in a car, not in a truck, but in your home, before highways were finished, before rest stops existed, before anyone even had a word for RV. One machine made that possible, and almost nobody knows it existed. This is the 1936 Pontiac Six Motorhome, and it was decades ahead of its time. Was it a car, a caravan, something else entirely? Built on a humble passenger car platform, yet designed for life on the open road, this rare creation blurred the line between transportation and living space, decades before the modern RV was even a thought. The mid-1930s were not a time for radical thinking in the automotive world. Most vehicles existed for one purpose: getting you from point A to point B. The Pontiac Six Motorhome dared to ask a different question. What if the journey was the destination? This wasn't a mass-produced vehicle rolled off an assembly line. It was a custom-built philosophy on four wheels, likely tailored for adventurous individuals, small touring groups, or those who simply refused to be tethered to a hotel calendar. While the world was still figuring out its highways, this machine was already imagining a life beyond them. In many ways, it was a prophecy, a pre-war dream of mobile living that would take decades to become mainstream. At its heart, the motorhome rode on the Pontiac Six chassis, a proven, widely trusted platform of the era. Its ladder frame construction gave engineers a sturdy starting point, but turning a passenger car foundation into a rolling home wasn't simply a matter of bolting on a bigger body. Structural elements had to be reinforced. Weight distribution across the extended body demanded careful engineering. The suspension, almost certainly a leaf spring setup, was likely upgraded to absorb the punishment of 1930s roads while carrying significantly more mass than it was ever originally designed for. It was adaptation through ingenuity, making a reliable platform do something it was never built to do, and doing it well enough to actually work. Under the hood, the layout was conventional for the era: front engine, rear-wheel drive. But convention ends there. The added mass of the living quarters shifted the vehicle's center of gravity in ways a standard sedan never had to account for. Braking, always a critical calculation, became even more important with the increased weight. And that tall, boxy body, it punched through the air with all the aerodynamic grace of a garden shed. But speed was never the point. Endurance was. This motorhome wasn't built to race down a road. It was built to live on one. Powering it all was Pontiac's 4.0-liter inline-six, an engine that earned its reputation not through excitement, but through sheer dependability. Modest in horsepower by any modern measure, it made up for it in torque and tenacity, pulling that heavier body mile after mile without complaint. Some owners likely tuned their machines over time, improved carburation, adjusted timing, squeezing a little more performance out of an engine already punching above its weight class. But reliability was always the headline. This engine didn't need to be fast, it needed to keep going, and it did. Step back from the mechanics and look at the body, because this is where the Pontiac Six Motorhome truly comes alive. Built using a combination of wood framing and metal paneling, it carried the spirit of early coach-building craftsmanship, each panel shaped by hand, each joint a small act of artistry. The exterior was unapologetically boxy, utilitarian, designed to maximize the one thing that mattered most: interior space. And inside? Surprisingly livable. Sleeping areas, seating, compact storage. It was no luxury suite, but it offered something far more valuable in 1936: independence. Large windows flooded the cabin with light and air. Every inch was accounted for. The whole space whispered the same message: you don't need to stop. You can keep going. These weren't vehicles built for people in a hurry. The travelers who climbed behind the wheel of a Pontiac Six Motorhome were the kind who understood that the road itself had value. Families escaping the limitations of roadside infrastructure, explorers pushing into territory where hotels didn't exist yet, perhaps even small touring groups or promotional travelers using the vehicle's novelty to turn heads along the way. Whatever the purpose, the approach was the same: slow, deliberate travel, frequent stops, a journey measured not in hours, but in experiences. In an era when roadside amenities were unreliable at best and non-existent at worst, having a self-contained vehicle wasn't just a luxury, it was a genuine advantage. Custom-built vehicles rarely survive the test of time. Many were dismantled when they wore out, repurposed into something unrecognizable, or simply lost to decades of neglect. The Pontiac Six Motorhome is no different. Very few examples, if any, remain intact today. But rarity has a way of amplifying value. For collectors, historians, and automotive museums, a surviving example would be nothing short of extraordinary, a physical artifact of a moment when someone dared to reimagine what a vehicle could be. Even without surviving examples, the legacy endures through photographs, documentation, and the quiet but unmistakable influence on everything that came after. The modern RV industry, worth billions, embraced by millions, didn't appear from nowhere. It grew from seeds planted by experimental creations exactly like this one. The Pontiac Six 4.0-liter motorhome proved a concept at a time when most people hadn't even considered the question. It shifted the definition of a vehicle from a tool for movement to a space for living. Every luxury motorhome cruising the interstate today, every camper van parked at a trailhead, every family living the mobile life, they all carry a thread of DNA that traces back to bold, unconventional ideas from the 1930s. Innovation rarely announces itself. It starts quietly in the hands of people willing to challenge what everyone else takes for granted. The 1936 Pontiac Six 4.0-liter motorhome wasn't famous, it wasn't mass-produced, it didn't change the world overnight, but it imagined a world worth changing. And sometimes that's exactly where revolutions begin. If this deep dive into automotive history sparked something for you, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to know what you think.